In the field of spiritual goals mentioned in the Vedas and Indian tradition, the goal of liberation has always been touted as the magnum opus of spiritual evolution. This word liberation is called as enlightenment, freedom, sometimes realization or self-realization, nirvana, mukti or moksha. Whatever you may call it as, generations of spiritual aspirants, both in regular life as well as in monastic life, have made it their mission, and for the sake of it, have taken up some very extreme practices and shown immense restraint. In today's video, we'll be looking at comparing different levels of intensity with respect to human beings' desire for liberation. These ideas are found in centuries-old Sanskrit literature of the 8th century philosopher Bhagwan Shri Adi Shankaracharya. So let's dive right in. If someone were to ask the question, why do I need a desire for liberation in my spiritual journey? Maybe this answer of the renowned philosopher might shed light on its importance. Sadhananam tu sarvesham mumuksha moola karanam anichor apravrittasya kvashruti kvanu tatphalam. In this verse, the revered Guru expresses that the root cause of all spiritual qualities is the desire for liberation, and that for a person without such a desire, why would they even come to Vedas or seek any form of liberation? In this verse, it seems that special emphasis is given to cultivating a desire in one's spiritual journey. How strong should that desire for liberation be? Well, Bhagwan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji categorizes this mumuksha or desire for liberation based on the intensity of the desire. He categorizes it as being of 4 levels of intensity: very intense or tivra mumuksha, moderate, madhyama mumuksha, mild, manda mumuksha, or extremely mild, ati manda mumuksha. About a person who has a very intense desire for liberation or tivra mumuksha, the philosopher writes, Tapai stribhir nityamaneka rupaihi santapyamanak shubhitantaratma parigraham sarvamanartha buddhya jahati sa tivratara mumuksha. In this verse, he explains that the most intense of desires for liberation comes as a result of recognizing the countless ways in which we human beings are suffering and becoming agitated with such a sad state of affairs. Knowing that whatever we have been choosing to do is only causing more problems, and thus examining our current state, that person decides to detach himself from everything keeping him back in life. Okay, I get it. This is a very intense desire. I may not be there yet. What about a moderate desire for liberation? Madhyama mumuksha? About this, the revered scholar writes, Tapatrayam tirvram aveksha vastu drishtva kalatram tanayan vihatum madhye dvayod lodram atmano yat saisha mata madhyamiki mumuksha. In his scenario, the seeker also recognizes the never-ending sufferings, challenges, and limitations of mundane living, and having understood that there is something more, has an internal conflict between letting go of worldly comforts and pursuing more diligently their spiritual goals. What should I hold on to, and what should I let go of? With this thought bubbling in his mind, such a person is described as having a moderate desire for liberation, madhyama moksha. If you've gotten this far in the video, then I can only imagine how intense your desire to see more content like this is. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to be part of this philosophical journey on Just Curious. Now back to the video. Internal conflict is generally there when there is doubt about what's the best thing for me to do. I guess we can say that when those doubts are cleared up, that person's desire for liberation may level up to the next stage, that of tivra mumuksha or intense desire. What's next to look at in this categorization? Oh yes, manda mumuksha or mild desire for liberation. Let's see what the great philosopher has to say about this. Mokshasya kalosti ke madhyame tvara bhuktvaiva bhogan kritasarva karyaha muktya yatishye hamatethi buddhir eshaiva manda kathitha mumuksha. Described in this verse is something I think we can all relate to at some point in our lives, especially when we're young and fascinated by all the glitz and glamour of the world. It is said here that a person who thinks in this way, there's still time to seek liberation. What's the rush? Let me accomplish all the things I want to in life, and then afterwards, I'll spend some time seeking something spiritual. This type of thinking is reflective of a person who has a mild desire for liberation. Somehow I feel this one may be familiar to most of us. Do you think any of these ancient philosophers had a sense of humor? Listen here to what Bhagwan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji says about the final degree of intensity when it comes to desiring liberation, the atimanda mumuksha, or the extremely mild desire for freedom. Marge prayatur manilabhavan me labheta moksho yaditar hi dhanyah ityashaya mudhadiyam matirya saishati manda bhimata mumuksha. He writes rather comically about a person who thinks in this manner: if I attain liberation, that's great. It's like finding a diamond while taking a stroll. The revered philosopher says that this casual thinking of people, wherein they think that maybe one day they'll stumble along and find liberation, is a thought process of foolish people. Savage, right? These 4 levels of categorizing the desire for liberation, whether it be intense, moderate, mild, or extremely mild, do show us not only how we think about our spiritual goals, but also how we think about all the other desires in our lives. There are many non-spiritual desires that we have, and we prioritize them based on how intense our desire are for them. Interestingly enough, Bhagwan Shri Adi Shankaracharya writes that for the one who has a very intense desire for liberation, they will achieve their goal here and now in this life, while the one who has a moderate desire will reach that goal in the next life. What about those who have mild desires or extremely mild desires for liberation? Well, for such persons, the 8th century Guru writes that liberation will be attained by moderate seekers in another yuga or after many lives, while the extremely casual of seekers may take many cycles of creation or kalpas to be free, or may not even get there to that point of freedom at all. At least we know what's our options, right? If you like this video, then do give us a thumbs up. And of course, comment below your thoughts on these ideas. It's important to get feedback and hear from you all. And as always, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay curious.